All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. First things I want to do is get the business out of the way. So if any of my content has ever given you guys any value, please drop down, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell notifications to all so you guys will know when I upload. You won't miss a single thing. Now, any tools that you guys see in my videos will be links down below to Amazon where you can purchase these. And if you decide to purchase them through my links, it could potentially make me some money, and all that goes right back into this channel so I can keep doing videos just like this for you guys. All right, so what we got here is just a plain receptacle. Now, it should go without saying to make sure that you always check, see if there's power here. Now, your wall should not look like this. This is how we're going to learn how to do a switched receptacle. So, there'll be drywall on your wall, or paneling, or T111 or something on your wall. But first things that we always need to make sure of is we need to definitely see if there's power here. Now, I use a little tick tracer. You can use a meter. You can use a little monkey. We will talk about those later on, but we are going to use the tick tracer. Now, keep in mind that here's a good tip for you guys. A tick tracer is only, and listen to what I'm saying, to see if there's power there. Don't use that to depend on your life, because if you're still worried that there's power there, you can do one of two things. You can turn your whole entire panel completely off right at the main, or you can get a meter and you can check it. Now, we're going to do both just to make sure. I have a meter here. We'll use that, and we'll use a tick tracer. Now, this is the one I have right here we're going to use today, and all you got to do is turn it on, and you check and see if there's power. And clearly there's power there. So this is the one that I'm going to use today. This is by Klein. It's an NCVT-3. I'll leave a link obviously down below like I mentioned. And I like this because when you turn it on, it also has a little flashlight so you can see what you're doing in the dark if you can't see. Now, let's go ahead and listen to see if this thing does have power, and I'll bring you in and show you. All right, just to make sure, we're going to also use my meter. Now, I love this meter for many reasons because you can, one, as you can see when you turn it on, it tells you right here on the bottom, I don't know if you can see it or not, if the light comes on, yeah. So you can see right there on the bottom if indeed there's power. So I'll pull you a little closer here and I'll show you, and we'll see if there's power here for sure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this right up here on the top. And we're going to see if there's power here. There's definitely power there. Make sure there's power on both of them because we are going to be switching this one. So let's talk about what we need to do next, because now we know that there's power there. Let's go ahead and just leave this in here and go turn the power off and see if indeed it goes off. And just like that, it's dead. Now let's check with our tick tracer and see if it's hot. Nope, not hot. So we're good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our receptacle out, and I want to show you guys and talk to you about how to switch this. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. We're going to do it the easiest route. There are different ways you can do it. I want to tell you guys that you really need to pay attention to this because it does make a world of difference to how you do this. So we're going to go ahead and take this out real quick, and we are going to show you guys. Now, we do know that the power is completely off. So we'll go ahead and take this receptacle out. I see you guys looking at my screwdriver and wondering what it is. Well, this is a, I don't even know how to say the name. That's how you say it. But I will leave, obviously, the link down below so you can check it out. Really like this thing. Saves your hand from carpal tunnel right now. So, we have this out. All right, so what we do is when we take the receptacle apart, we do it backwards. I've always told you guys that it's best to go ground, neutral, hot. Well, when you're taking it loose, it's good to go hot, neutral, ground. And why is that? Because you always want the ground to be your saving grace if you ever need it, basically. So, well, we know that this one's off. Of course, that doesn't matter, right? You always work things as if it is hot. We'll take our ground off. Now, I'm only taking all these off just to show you exactly what we have left. So, in this receptacle, we only have 3 wires, but you could potentially have 2 or even 3 wires in here, 3 separate Romexes. But we only have 1, because that's what we're going to do right now. We're working with this one, and we're going to be putting this into a switch box that you're going to be cutting in later, or that you already have, and you're just going to run a wire from here to a box, which is in this case, right over here. So what we want to do is we want to get a piece of Romex, all right? And we want to stick it in this box. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut enough to go from here all the way over to here so we can switch this thing and switch it correctly. All right, so what you want to do is you want to keep in mind that when you use a switched receptacle, only the top or the bottom is going to be switched, not both. Now you can switch both, but that defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do right now. So what we're going to do is there's this tab right here, and we're going to break it with a screwdriver or a pair of needle nose, your Leathermans, whatever. We're going to bend it back and forth. It's going to separate these two screws right here, and they'll be independent of each other. Now, my personal preference, and I'm going to tell you why, is to leave the bottom one always hot, the top switch. My preference is that due to the fact that if you're going to be switching, you potentially could possibly want to, if it's a lamp, unplug the lamp and move it. Well, if you have this one permanently plugged in, you know, like let's say like a recliner, that couch that automatically, you know, reclines, or whatever you have there, hair dryer or whatever, you don't have to reach down even further. I know it's not that far, but when you're behind a couch and you're trying to reach down behind there, it's easier to unplug the top one than it is the bottom. So let's break this tab out together and I will show you how to wire this. All right, so how we're going to do this is we're going to take my Leatherman pliers and we're going to just work it back and forth. There is a little slot right here that you can put a screwdriver in, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my Leatherman. So you just work it back and forth. There. Now we're broke off. I'm going to go ahead and just bend it up and peel the rest of it off. Just take your time. This is not a race. All right, you can see it is now broke. There is no piece that is in between these two. So these are completely independent of each other. Now you do not want to break the neutral side. And if you don't know what neutral is, silver is always your neutral. And if you don't know that, you can look in the top here. That blade that's bigger and going to the side, that's your neutral. That's always your hot on the right hand side if you're looking at the receptacle. So hot's always on the right, neutral's always on the left. So now that these are two independent receptacles of each other, let's put this down and let's worry about the wiring next. Okay, so you're probably going to be like, wait a minute, this guy has a different shirt on underneath. You know what I do? Because I had some camera problems and I'm going to be having them again here very shortly, but I want to tell you guys, start with the wiring back. That's why I lost you when I realized that the microphone didn't work. So what we're going to need is a 12-3, and the reason why we need a 12-3 is because we need a neutral in this switch box. Because if you decide, for whatever reason, to use a Wi-Fi switch to control your switched receptacle, you're going to have a neutral for that. So it's best just to go ahead and pull a 12-3. Now I'm going to walk you through this step by step exactly where each wire needs to go. We're going to talk about it. This may be a little lengthy video, but I want to tell you guys, you've got to follow this, because if you want this to be correctly wired, this is the way to do it. So we'll go ahead and we're going to run this 12-3 from this receptacle box over here into this switch box. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I'm going to do it off camera because it makes no sense for you to watch that, because I'm only pulling it from there to there. Now, when you pull it in your wall, you know, just make sure that you take your time, put it from your switch to your receptacle, and everything will be hunky-dory. Now, I'll see you back in 2 seconds. Ready? So what I did here is I pulled this 12-3 in here, and I purposely only pulled off a little bit of the sheath because I want to show you something. But so this is your original hot wire. This was on your receptacle, remember? This is what I took off. So your hot, neutral, and ground. Now we know that it's off because obviously we checked it. So we're going to push this down because we don't need to worry about this right now. So what we have here is a 12-3 in this box here, and over here we also have a 12-3, as you see. So we're going to work on this one first. So I'm going to show you guys how to strip this out. So several ways to do it. You can take a knife, X-Acto knife. Just be careful, you don't want to scar any of your wires up. Even if it is the ground, you still don't want to scar it up. Now an easy way to do this, to strip it out, is you can take a pair of pliers and just grab your grounds. All right. I'm trying not to hit the camera so it looks like it's harder than what it really is, because it goes really easy, as you see. All right, now your ground's free, and so is your insulation. Now you're going to have to take a knife, and you're going to have to score it back in there to pull this out. So you should definitely wear gloves, obviously. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, so what we need to do is make sure we keep every wire separated. So we know that these are the power. So like I said, I fold these back here. This is what's going to the switch. So we're going to start with the grounds first. code says it has to have 6 inches of wire coming out from the back of the box to the front, or 3 inches. So what I like to do is just kind of put my heel of my hand up against the box, and you see that this wire is exactly what we need it to be lengthwise, because that's the way I did this receptacle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 wires, we're going to get us another piece of wire, because we need to have a little piece on here to make up. Put this up here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to twist these now. If you don't know how to make the perfect wire joint, guys, guess what? I have a beautiful video on how to make a beautiful wire joint. And how is that done? Well, look up here in this corner below, and you will see exactly how to do it. So what we'll do is we will stick a little wire nut on it. Now, they do make a green wire nut, and we're not going to use that on this video, but they do make one. I'm going to show you what it looks like so you are aware of what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to twist this up. Now, this is a green wire nut, and what it has is a hole in the middle, and what happens is, which we're not going to do it, but you stick this through here and you twist your wires on here, kind of like you did here, but the wire actually sticks through there. My wires are not long enough to do that with, so we were not able to do that. So I'm not going to push these wires all the way back in because I want to show you guys what goes with what. So I'm going to just kind of half butt fold them in there. But if this was for real, this will be a way nicer box. All right, we're done with the ground, so we're going to stick it up here. Now what we're left with is a black, a red, and a white. And what we need to do, because we need a neutral in this box right here, so what we need to do is tie these 2 together and put a pigtail on this, just like I did with the grounds. So you want, like I said, 6 inches of wire coming out of your box. All right, and I mentioned these before in videos, the dual strippers, you got to get you a pair, guys. They strip 2 12s at one time, just saying, and they are so unbelievably handy. See what I did there? All right, so we're going to strip this out. We're going to put these together. And once again, we're going to twist them. All right, twist, twist, twist. Now you might say, man, you could use a Wago and be done. Yep. Well, like I said before, Wagos are trash in my boat. I do not like them. Sam, I am. Or Mike, I am. All right, we're going to pull this one back in here. And like I said, I'm only putting this kind of half butt in here because I want to show you guys. So what we have left is this black right here, like I mentioned, right? This is the hot coming from your panel or another receptacle, whatever. And then the black and the red from the 3 wire that you just put in here. So what we need to do, the same thing goes, we have to make another joint on the blacks. We'll put this up here to be done, and we will strip these out. This will be our constant power on our receptacle. Oh, hold on. And our switched power back. So what's going to happen is this hot will travel down this black wire that goes to this black wire, which is right here. All right. This is your ground. This is the switch. This is a neutral. Now, when we put this black from the panel onto this wire right here, it's sending power straight over here. So all we'll have left is power in here. All right, and we're going to have this for the switch. And I told you before in previous videos, whenever I know the wire is to be switched, I always put a little pigtail on it, a little curlicue. All right, so let's go ahead and make this up. And we'll get this situated. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear or not, but it is super windy outside. I mean, it is terrible windy. And I don't know if this microphone is doing what it's supposed to do, these little wireless mics, but anyway, hope it knocks the wind down. All right, like I said, all I'm doing is just putting these half butt in here. You want to take pride when you do your boxes because, you know, it looks better and your receptacle will go in there easier. So here's what we're left with. We know that this is going to be the switched part of the receptacle. This and this match. This black right here is tied to this black here. Even though there's only 1 wire and there were 2. Remember, we just made it a loop. So we're going to leave this out here. Actually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut all these the same length. We know that this neutral right here needs to be right there, and this black right here needs to be right here, and this ground needs to be right here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and make this end up first. Like I said, these are dual strippers. I'm going to show you right here how they work. You put 2 wires in there, like so, and boom, bam, huh? Pretty awesome. Now I can't do that one because it's already stripped. So we'll go ahead and we will make this one up. And these little circles on your pliers or on your strippers, whatever, they are to bend your hooks on your wires. Pretty awesome, huh? Klein thinks of everything. All right, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do all these real quick. All right, remember we did our receptacle, how we broke the tab on the hot side? Right here, hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one step at a time. Now I showed you this screwdriver here before, guys. This thing is fantastic. Links will be down below. Highly recommend this one. Now I do love the Craftsman also, but I'm telling you, that one's pretty hot. See what I did there? Pretty hot. All right, so we're gonna do the ground first, because we always do ground, neutral, hot. All right, fits perfectly on there. We'll go ahead and we will put it on there and we'll tighten it up. All right, now the neutral's next. We have one neutral. Boom, just like so. We'll tighten her up. All right, and you can twist with this too. So we got a perfectly good twist there on our wires. You want to put the wires in there so they're going clockwise, because the screw goes clockwise. And you want your wire to match that, because as you're turning this screw, it's going to turn this down and pull that down tight, so you have a very good tight fit. Now what I told you before was I like to have the main hot, the one that's always going to stay hot, down on the bottom, and then I like the switch part on the top. And there's no preference except what I told you. I just like it there because if you have to reach down behind a couch, it's easier to reach this, even though it doesn't really make sense because they're only this far apart, you know, however far that is, 2 inches, whatever. But if you're trying to reach and you just have just a little bit more to go, come on guys, we know what we're talking about, right? All right, so we're gonna put the hot right there on the bottom. Remember, it's only gonna make that one hot, that's it. Let's go ahead and tighten it up. All right, and then the switched part of this receptacle will go to the top. Now these are the same circuit because it's the same hot, it's just acting in a different manner because we are switching it, all right? So we're gonna leave this one here and we're gonna go to the switch now. Same thing goes here. We're gonna pull this paper off here and we're going to take these loose. All right, we're gonna make it to the end of my thumb. We're gonna strip this out. Now I'm gonna show you a little trick with these Wagos. If you have some and you watch this video or any of my other ones and you're like, man, you're right, Wagos suck. I'm gonna show you a very good use for a Wago. Very good use for a Wago. Right here, right now. So let's go ahead and strip this out. We'll leave this neutral because we don't need a neutral for just a regular size switch. Now, if we're having a dimmer here, or if we're having a, yes, you can put a dimmer here too. Or if you have a smart switch, you have to have this neutral. So let's do away with the neutral very first thing. Now, like I mentioned, there is one really good use for a Wago, and that is to dead end wires. Now, I probably made this one too long because I thought I was gonna stick a wire nut on here until I started doing this video. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and open the Wago up, put it on, put it on the right side, boom. Now, I just don't trust these. That's why we'll do another video on these another day. But for dead ending wires, man, you can't beat them. Not with a stick. All right, so what we're left with is these 3 wires right here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our little curly cues. Remember I showed you how to do that, right? Because that's what these holes are for. We'll go ahead and we'll put it through. And if you're wondering how much to stick through, I like right at about that much. You don't know if you can really tell in the video or not, but that's about maybe 1/8, because you want it just to catch the switch, receptacle, or whatever. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick what side on first, guys? Ground, good. You guys are learning, I love it. All right, we're gonna go ahead And we're not going to mount this switch either. Please don't ever do what I'm doing. This is only do as I say, not as I do. And this is only for educational purposes. You know, you really don't ever want to do this. Wink, wink. So, this is the point where people are like, what does it matter what side I put the hot or the switch on? And it does not, because the only thing this switch is doing when it's down here, it's telling you that when it's down, only power is right here. But when you switch it up, it looks like this. And when you switch, when it's down, it looks like this. So the contacts are apart. And when you switch it up, what happens is, boop, they go together and sends power back out because there's a contact inside here, which eventually I'm going to open one of these up again. And I'm going to go through it and I'll show you guys how it works and all. But it does not matter what you put on there. It's a good idea, at least for me, to put the hot on the bottom. That way I know if I ever come back to my switch that I ever put in and I had to get into it for whatever reason, I know that that's my hot. And it does not matter. You can literally put the red on the bottom, red on the top, black on the, you know, so on and so forth. So now if you didn't have a Wago, you just have to put a wire nut on there because. All right, now this switch is ready to roll. So let's plug a lamp in here and let's see. I got a lamp right here. As you see, I'm going to back up and show you guys. I'm going to put a lamp on here and we're going to see if indeed this lamp will work, switched or not. All right, remember we had the power off and what I have in here right now is just the hot. So we're going to see if it comes on when it's just powered by the hot. Boom, baby. Yeah. All right, let's just see let's just say for giggles, if the switch will work. Nope. That's good because we only switched the top of this. So let's turn the switch back off. We'll pull this out. Like I said, do as I say, not as I do. The switch is off. Let's see if it comes on, and it does not. So that's so far so good. I'm going to walk over here, in front of the camera, of course, and I'm going to turn this switch on. You ready? La! And like I said, you can put a dimmer on here if you so choose to. And you already have your neutral waiting on a smart switch or a dimmer if the dimmer requires it. All right, that's all there is to this, guys. It's super, super, super easy. All right, I hope that helps you guys kind of understand where you need to be and how you need to wire the switch. So if you made it this far, guys, this is now your second chance to like, subscribe, turn that bell notification to all. Any comments or special requests, drop down there in the comments, guys. Let me know what you want to see. If there's something specific that you want to see, I'll be glad to do it. Obviously, if it's within my means and I can do it, let me know because I am going to just keep bankrolling these videos. Make sure that you subscribe so you do not miss anything that I do. This is Mike, aka Sparky the Windbag, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.